I am recording.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 617th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, Steve. With me is Hannah.
I am here. My Pokemon Sleep crashed last night, so that's top of mind.
You were pre-gaming too hard, I'm sure.
No, not that. I'm still on my electric team. I haven't even built a team for the event this week. I'm just chilling.
Bobby also here.
I am tired. My sleep has not been great the last couple of nights, and it's all because of one game, Echo the Dolphin. An amazing game. An amazing game, but it's been keeping me up late, and it's been making my sleep scores bad in Pokemon Sleep, so not good.
Well, since this has become just a Pokemon Sleep podcast, we're going to be starting off with Pokemon Sleep, and then we have some anime news, some Scarlet and Violet news, and lo and behold, we're going to be talking about GameStop this episode. You love to see it.
Been a while.
It's been a while. Still in business. That's the actual news.
That's surprising.
Let's start off with Pokemon Sleep. We are recording this on a Saturday afternoon, which is not our normal recording time, but we are still in Fire Week. And then this upcoming Monday is nothing. And then following that is the 2 weeks of Entei. So I guess you have an extra week on Topalo or an extra week anywhere that is not green grass, unless you want to level up your green grass. That is also helpful if your green grass is not leveled, I guess. But let's start with Hannah. How's your fire week? You said nothing prepared. Did you get a berry finding Cyndaquil? Did you get a good Vulpix?
I haven't gotten anything particularly good, but I have at least seen a Vulpix and seen a Ninetales, so I'm still getting those sleep styles in. That's the big thing for me this event. I only need 11 more before I can unlock Lapis, because I'm behind.
Nice. Oops, you're behind. Look at me.
Bobby started 6 months late.
Yeah.
Bobby, the big question here. How much money have you given Pokemon Sleep?
I have given Pokemon Sleep a little bit of money. So I'm paying for premium. So there's that, right?
Hannah's not, for the disclosure here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I gave it $3 for the trial bundle that you get when you start. I don't remember. It was like 600 diamonds and some Poke Biscuits.
It's good. It's a good deal.
Yeah, and a good camp ticket as well, actually, for like $3. So I spent that. And then there's the $100. No, I'm just kidding. It's just just $3 and then premium. So not too bad, although much quicker than I started spending money in Go. It took me a good 4 months before I started spending money in Pokemon Go. So sleep got me early. So we'll see how that pans out in the end. But yeah,
it is possible to play without the premium. I think I've actually spent $1 on a bundle once.
Did you not get the $3 bundle, Hannah? I thought you did.
That may have been the one I got. That probably was the one because it's such a good deal.
Yeah.
But I have not done premium beyond the free trial.
Yeah.
Wait till they start being able to gift premium. Then we can gift you.
That would be lovely. Maybe I'll actually change my team away from Entei then. Not Entei, Raikou.
Well, this makes a little bit more sense now to me, because when I started playing, it was right after, it was like the week between like the Electric Week and the start of the Raikou event, where people were all confused and thought Raikou started right after. And and now I see like, okay, we have Fire Week. Now there's a break, I guess. And then it
now
jumps
that there's
into,
two, there's a pattern.
Yeah.
Now we have the pattern. I do think it's it's smart. I don't know if it's intentional. It seems intentional that both Raikou and Entei overlap into a new month, which gives you 2 opportunities to get 2 Master Biscuits.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know if that's like intent. It feels intentional. So like they both weeks of like nothingness pushes it to overlap into the new month. So that makes sense. It makes sense to me at least.
Well, aren't the good sleep days always on a full moon?
Yeah.
As well, and these full moons are at the end, have been at the end of the month, so it kind of it does kind of work into that as well.
Pokemon Sleep has made me add moon calendars to my calendar.
Nice.
I can tell you the new moon is wait, what month are we right now?
Well, the new moon,
and
was
you're looking
like
for the full moon, not the
full
new moon.
moon is the 21st of this month on a Friday. Apparently at 8:08 p.m. according to my calendar. So yeah, good sleep day coming up. They pushed an update. This is actually the news. There's the 1.7.2 update. Unlike Niantic, it tells you what they change and what they fix. Communication very good here still. They are adjusting some Pokemon. So Golduck, which apparently people are saying has been an S tier Pokemon for a while because it's that charge thing it does to power up Snorlax. They're giving it more ingredient finding. It's going to be times 1.2, and they're giving it a bigger carry limit of +3. These aren't like major buffs, by the way. These are pretty minor. They're trying to get people to use Wobbuffet. Main skill chance is going up to 1.1 times, so like a 10% effectiveness, increasing its carry limit to 3. And then Persian is getting their frequency shortened by 200 seconds, and Lucario is getting their frequency shortened by 100 seconds. These are both Dream Shard Magnet Pokemon, and no one is using Dream Shard Magnet Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's
painful. I have a good shiny Lucario. I really wanted to use my shiny Lucario. It is not useful.
That's a bummer.
So I don't think like you should be rushing out to use Wobbuffet, but it's nice that they're like changing some stuff. Positive. Like these are not nerfs by any means. They did do a improvement to the Pokemon Go Plus, or this update's not out yet for the record. It comes out on the 13th from 20 o'clock to the last 2.5 hours. No, 4.5 hours. You'll have maintenance for 4.5 hours on the night of the 13th.
20 o'clock your time, so 8 p.m. your time, or because it.
The blog post is usually in
UTC, isn't it?
Is it?
Is it? No, because. Well, that's surprising for a time because it's usually at 6 p.m. Pacific. Because I was just complaining about this, how you can't even get a shot at doing dinner.
They've changed the timing some, I think, but usually, yeah.
So that's the big one for me, is if it's actually not that I can't do dinner.
This is what
after,
I will say.
But...
You will have a notice in the news in your app. Click on that. It should be local time for you. I know people probably skip past the news, but they do give you like 5 days heads up.
It's in there now.
Yeah, it's in there now. It should be there.
It does. It's 6 p.m. Pacific. So that 8 p.m., that 20 o'clock, 8 p.m. is your time, Steve.
Yep. It looks like the blog post actually updates based on your own time, too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It should say, like, they should put, like, CST or whatever.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, that is weird. That doesn't at least say local or something to let you know what.
Okay, going back to the Pokemon Go Plus. Improvements so regular sleep research can be conducted for both sessions when 2 sleep sessions tracking are reported at the same time via the Go Plus. When 3 or more sleep tracking sessions are reported, regular sleep research will be conducted once, and the rest will all be included in one report as normal.
I like that change.
Okay.
Can you explain that change as somebody, because you've done this, Hannah, where you've like saved up multiple.
Yeah, where I've been lazy and I haven't checked the app for 3 days, but I've kept pressing the button on the plus plus to get the tracking.
Okay, so how is
So
this working?
usually when you do that, when you quote unquote miss more than one day by just not logging into the app but keep pressing the button, then when you open up the app, finally, eventually, you get to do a normal sleep research for your most recent night, which means you get to actually intentionally check the Pokemon and feed the Pokemon that you want to be feeding. And the rest are kind of done automatically and summarized up for you. And so it gives random Pokemon the bonus biscuit from the other sleep research days.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like this change means that you're going to get to intentionally feed Pokemon for 2 of those nights instead of just the one.
Oh,
Got it. I didn't even realize it saved up that you could. I thought it just, if you missed one, the next time you started it, it just skipped over the one before that. I didn't realize
No,
that
I've gotten a shiny Caterpie that way.
Right. You did, yeah, you did mention that. That's right. Wow.
They're also saying if you're a new player, sorry, Bobby, this is no longer you. For your first 7 sleep sessions, one Pokemon will always be hungry. So
I like that a lot.
That's a really good change. So
Yeah.
again, we need a referral code for this podcast because the amount of people we've signed up for Pokemon Sleep, astronomically high, I'm sure of it. But if you haven't started playing Pokemon Sleep, they're saying the first 7 times you play the game, you will get one Pokemon hungry for sure. These are just Pokemon that are easier to catch off the bat. This does not apply if you do 2 sleep sessions in one day, only your first sleep session of the day. They're also adding perks to novice researcher bonus. They didn't really expand on what that is. They're changing some stuff. So changes to the condition for when sleep XP bonus gauge applies. Before change, during sleep research applied when any helper on the team reached current max level of 55, regardless of user's research rank. After the change, during sleep research will apply to any helper on the team who's reached max level possible for the user's research rank at the time. And then the sleep bonus gauge, if the team includes any helper Pokemon that reach max level, any sleep XP earned through the sleep research is added to the sleep XP bonus gauge. Each time the bonus gauge fills up to 500 XP, you will receive 1 handy candy small, which is just rare candy. So I don't know why it's not called rare candy, but that's what it is.
Not like the name. So what is the level max based on rank? Like 55. Is it equal, or so if you're rank 25, how high can you level a Pokemon?
55.
Oh, it doesn't matter what rank you are?
I don't think so. Not that I know of, unless there was an older change or they did change it. But I was like level 40 and my Wigglytuff was 52.
Did I misunderstand what you said then? I thought you said that if the Pokemon maxes its level based on your rank, there's a bonus that would used to only happen when the Pokemon was level 55 and your rank was that high.
I think they're saying that like the game isn't recognizing 55 as the max level. It's recognizing it as 55 out of 100, whereas they're saying right now 55 is the max level.
Got it. Okay.
That's my interpretation. Because it says any helper Pokemon that reached the current max level of 55, regardless of your rank after the change, when the team has reached the max level possible for the research rank at the time. Max level possible is 55.
That makes me think that maybe going forward, they're going to make it based on the research rank and have levels unlocked based on the research rank.
I've only been
going to increase it. Like they're going to increase it or something.
Yeah. Maybe somebody in the Slack or Discord or our YouTube comments can maybe interpret this a little bit better. I would assume for the majority of players, they're not 55 and this is something they don't have to worry about.
Not even close.
But those hardcore players, feel free to correct what that means. Yeah, so some updates, and then Entei will show up. The one thing I want to say about the fire type week is I feel like this is what Taupe Hollow should always feel like. Like,
Yeah.
getting Vulpix, seeing more Cyndaquil, seeing more Charmander, kind of less Geodudes, less Rattatas, less Croagunks. Although, like, I feel like every time I get a Pokemon on top of Snorlax's belly, it's always Toxicroak every single time. I don't need Toxicroak anymore. He can just go away. But this is the first week where it genuinely feels like Taupe Hollow has been fun to, like, do. And I think that's what I've been trying to say for, like, the last couple of weeks is areas that are not green grass, with the exception of, I think, Lapis, don't have enough variety where it just feels like you go to this new area, you get really excited, and then all of a sudden it's like the same Pokemon you've been seeing on green grass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I've only been on green grass during the Raikou event and the week before that. So, like you were saying before, like, I'm thinking that I might actually be going to green grass next week to
Experience
go to it
it
again. Like, just because I've been on, it's like Taupe Hollow and Cyan Beach every other week. And as much as I love Taupe Hollow's music and don't want to go away from that, I probably should move over just to get some variety because, yeah, to your point, I've seen so many Croagunk, so many Geodude, like so many.
Geodude's actually like a good Pokemon.
and the thing is I need more of those sleep styles, right? Because I'm way further behind. I need 4 sleep styles to open up. Was it called Snowdrop?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to be able to expand my pot further and things like that, So I'm 4 away, but if I stick at Taupe Hollow, it's just not going to happen, because it's just Geodude 800 times, and none of them are good. If I just could get a good one at least, I would be happy, but none of them are good.
You're still too early to be finding good Pokemon. You have to catch more of them.
I'm like 14 Cyndaquils in and not a single good one. I got a Quilava, though, that has Berry Finding S at 50.
Oh, that's tough.
I know. It's so close, but so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts when I think I caught like 3 Pokemon yesterday. It was like 2 Cyndaquil and a Charmander, or 2 Cyndaquil and a Vulpix or something. And I went in and just, they were all terrible. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
it just feels bad.
It's real rough out there. Good game, though.
Oh, great game. My favorite Pokemon game right now. My favorite Pokemon game.
All right, shifting gears here a little bit. This is off Pokemon.com. May 10th, this was yesterday. Pokemon Horizons, the series part 2, now available on Netflix. Get ready for the incredible journey across the vast Pokemon world with Liko, Sprigatito, Roy, Fuecoco, and their friends, the rising Volt-tacklers. In part 2, they will continue to chart their course towards the Galar region. Sword and Shield remakes confirmed. That's it. I don't want to read any more for spoiler purposes for some people, but I still live off the cancel my Netflix if I'm not using it. I have not been using it after I finished it. I'm leaving for Japan in like 10 days and then Spain shortly after. So I don't think I'm going to renew my Netflix until maybe I get back. Because I feel like Netflix on Japanese Wi-Fi will not have Pokemon Horizons because that would be
That's
on
probably
Tokyo
true.
TV. So I will get locked out of it.
Can you not download the episodes on Netflix and then have them on your
assuming that
device?
I got the bigger iPad. I probably got the minimum storage iPad.
And you'd have to keep it off of the internet the whole time you were watching them.
Right.
If you
Yeah,
did
I think
that.
that's true. I think as soon as you connect to the internet, it will still want to verify your location and it will block that content.
Oh, I was just thinking for the plane. I mean, how many episodes is it? 10, maybe?
12.
10, 12?
12.
That's
It's
a plane.
12
That's
episodes.
Japan. That's a plane ride to Japan. That's not.
Yeah, but my plan is to always sleep on the plane.
Oh, good luck. Good for you that you can sleep
Yeah.
on a plane because
No,
I cannot.
the strategy is because my flight is I think it's at like 11 a.m. on Tuesday. So if I just don't go to bed on Monday night, and then I will be so tired, I will fall asleep on the plane. And then when I get to Japan, I think it's like 2 p.m. And then I'm like, well, normal day.
Okay, that's one way to do it.
If
Sure.
it works, as long as it works, that's the real thing there.
It has worked the last 2 times to Japan, so yeah.
Yeah. So wait, here's the real question though. Did
Mhm.
you buy a new iPad?
No.
Oh, okay.
I
When
ain't
you
got
said that you
iPad
got
money.
that, okay. You said bigger. You said storage, and I thought, oh, did you actually buy a new iPad?
No, I have an iPad Air, the M1 iPad Air,
Oh, okay.
and I think
Nice.
it's only whatever the lowest storage is. I don't think What are people putting on their iPads? Pictures?
I don't know.
Netflix
I don't think.
downloads?
I don't think the Horizon's 10 episodes though is like 64 gigabytes. I think you
Yeah,
would be
that's probably
okay.
true. That's probably accurate. I would assume that each episode is probably like a gig.
No, like a movie is like unless you're watching them in like 8K or something.
That's how I want to see my Quaxley in 8K.
I think you could probably fit a fair number of them. Plus, you have a week before leaving, and there are only 12 episodes, and they are less than half an hour each. They're all 21
true.
to 24 minutes.
I could probably subscribe tonight and crank them all out
Tonight.
like Sunday evening. Yeah, I could. And then I could test to see how much storage I have for my plane ride when I cannot sleep. Bobby, I can't remember, did you watch the first 12 or no?
I didn't. I said I was going to, and I didn't. So
would that be something your kids are interested in? Your kids are watching the original anime.
Yeah, they've watched a fair amount of the Indigo League.
Is this like this parent thing where like, I grew up on the Nintendo 64, so I'm going to make my kids play Nintendo 64 and not the PlayStation 5?
That's not the situation here. Although I do think everyone that plays Pokemon should start with Pokemon Red and Blue. Otherwise, fake fan. No, just kidding. So we only started watching Indigo League because it was like the only thing available on Netflix. I think that was the only season
or at least the
available.
best thing available.
Well, okay.
Pokemon wise.
Whatever was brand new at the time when we started watching it, which was probably some kind of Sword and Shield
Journeys.
of some kind. Was it?
Yeah, Journeys. Sword and Shield was Journeys, yeah.
Was there 2, but because I wanted to talk to them, like we were talking about Pokemon, and they play Pokemon Go on my phone, so a lot of the Pokemon they see, because Niantic loves Kanto, a lot of the Pokemon that they see
Have you rediscovered it recently?
Pokemon. So they know a lot of the Kanto Pokemon, not because I forced Kanto onto them, because Niantic forces Kanto onto them. So watching Indigo League felt like it made more sense, since they would know a lot more of the Pokemon.
Journeys would have been pretty good there too, and it was not bad. Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll get there. I'm not gonna make them go through like the whole like series to get there. I mean, I think that they would like watching Horizons. I just been watching other stuff lately. We talked about this last time, but
I know, but like I think like if you're a parent with kids, because I think Hannah and I are a little disconnected since we don't have kids. Unless Hannah's hiding something over there.
No.
If you were like, I am subscribing to Netflix tonight, kids, do you want to watch brand new Pokemon? Do you think they would be like, would your kids be excited and like sit down and like want to watch as many episodes as possible?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, for sure. No, yeah, my kids like Pokemon, and kids, I think, like Pokemon. I mean, we started watching it when we were older, obviously, because well, maybe I don't know about Hannah, but Steve and I were 10 when it came
10,
out,
yeah.
so we couldn't watch it before then. But
I liked it as a kid. I tried to get my little brothers into Pokemon as a kid. This is the experience I've had. That I was the older
Yeah, let us hear
sister,
it.
where I tried to
Yes.
get my little brothers into Pokemon through the anime and through the games. And eventually they got tired of it and just thought I was the nerdy older sister and have not played or watched Pokemon for probably 15 years. But I really tried.
wow,
Dang.
oh, that didn't end the way I thought it was going to.
Yeah, sometimes that happens, I think. Maybe prepare yourself just in case.
Yeah. No, I've had that thought many times.
I was in Florida, and there were a bunch of kids running around at the regionals, and I overheard one kid point at the Cramorant sign and go, "I don't know who that is." And I was very sad. It was a real bummer on that one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not too surprising.
My kids know who Cramorant is.
He was in a movie. He was in the Zarude movie.
Yeah, they've really tried. I mean, Cramorant's been a fair number of places.
Mhm.
Very much in Unite. Definitely in the DLC for Scarlet and Violet.
Mm-hmm.
Not in Pokemon Go yet.
Once he's in Pokemon Go, he's golden.
Well, Galar is missing from Pokemon Go for the most part. So
yeah,
one
true.
day.
Maybe the Pokemon Go Fest bonuses will add Galar Pokemon.
Well, yeah, they love their Ultra Unlock to be, this is a reward for doing so well. We're just releasing the next generation.
We're going to do it anyways.
Yeah, we're going to do it anyways. We're going to do it 12 days earlier.
Release the new generation. Yeah. Speaking, real quick before we take our break, speaking of Pokemon Go, I watched a YouTube video about like dark patterns in mobile games, and Monopoly Go is like number one in that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Monopoly Go does look, is it called Monopoly Go? I'm not sure what it's called. It's literally, if I open my app store, it's like featured.
Mm-hmm.
It's like rated one of the has the most dark patterns. It does legitimately look like a fun game that you can play for 10 minutes and then 12 hours later you can, because it's timer based, so like 12 hours later you can pay to make the timer go up. It does look okay, but the video talked about how it has a lot of dark patterns, and they were like, if you go to this website, you can see games that have dark patterns. It's all user generated, so it's like users rating, like, oh, I noticed this dark pattern. The number one game was surprisingly not Monopoly Go. It was like a Jurassic Park mobile game, and there's like 7 Jurassic Park mobile games, so I'm not sure which of the Jurassic Park mobile games, but it was rated the absolute worst when it came to dark patterns. It took me a couple pages to get to Pokemon Go. But out of all the Pokemon games, Pokemon Go was the most dark patterns.
Really?
Which I guess if you don't know what a dark pattern is, it's like a way to get you to do something that you normally like. It's a way to get you to spend money or to like not actually cancel your subscription. You know how like when you go to like cancel like Amazon Prime, like the cancel button will be in like red and then the continue button will be in green, so your mind is like, oh, green to continue, but you're actually just keeping your subscription. Those are dark patterns. The game that, so Pokemon Sleep wasn't on the list. I did check because it's so new. The game that had the least amount of dark patterns, which I think is incorrect because I just don't think enough people play it, was Cafe Remix.
I was gonna say that's the one I was expecting to have the most.
Yeah,
but that's the problem with the website, is it's user generated. So obviously the most people play Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
That game sneaks stuff in everywhere.
Yeah, like, I would assume that Cafe Remix would be worse than, I think the second worst Pokemon game was Unite.
Mm-hmm.
And I read some of the reviews on Unite, and they were like, pay to win, which I don't think it's pay to win at all. But that's like a whole nother conversation about it.
I thought you only paid for aesthetics in Pokemon Unite. Clearly, I don't play the game, but I thought it was just for clothing and stuff that you paid for.
It is now. When it first launched, there was like paying to like accelerate to get your items to level up.
Oh,
The
I
three
do
held
remember
items
that.
you have,
Yeah.
and that doesn't like matter anymore. Like the items that your Pokemon are holding still matter, but like leveling them doesn't matter as much as people think they do.
I feel like we're gonna get a lot of Unite players who are going to disagree with this.
I will get Zoinks on the show, and Zoinks commentates Pokemon Unite full time, and he will tell you that it's definitely not pay to win. I know Zoinks is listening. Okay. Let's take a break. When we come back, we have some GameStop stuff, and Primarina showed up, and we will be right back. And we are back from our break. Let's talk about the TCG stuff, because we got two things. One is GameStop related. But Twilight Masquerade should be coming out. Well, this comes out on Monday. Twilight Masquerade should be coming out on Friday for everyone, right?
Next.
Oh, sorry. May 20. Pre-releases are this Friday.
No, they just started 2 days ago.
Oh, the build and battle that started this weekend.
Yes.
But some shops will have it next week as well. Not every shop.
Yeah, so it's through the 2 weeks between Friday, like 2 days ago, through May 24th will be pre-releases. So shops will have them throughout the weeks leading up to.
Because my shop usually does it a week before.
Oh, okay.
Not that I go to it, but I'm aware that it exists.
Yeah. So we have the shop I usually go to, which just sells them like without like the tournament, because that's how they did it for a while when COVID hit.
I think they're not supposed to do that.
Yeah,
anymore.
I'm not naming any shops. There are shops though.
Let's get them.
There are shops in San Diego, but they do sign people up and everything. So there's tournaments that happen during that time, but they start 2 weeks before, and then they have tournaments, a few different tournaments throughout the 2 weeks leading up to the release of the sets.
Yeah, so the official release date is May 24th. 160 cards. I will say, just disclosure, the Pokemon Company did send me a box of cards. They've been at my P.O. box for the last couple of times. I'll eventually go pick them up and then open them eventually, but there's your disclosure. This is the set with Ogerpon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Loyal 3.
Anything in Bobby, give us the download of the TCG world. What is the chase card here? What do people actually want from this set?
Well, I think the one that is really definitely popular with me, but is very popular, is there's two cards. One is, this is on the collector side. I don't think these cards are playable at all, or are very playable. There is a Perrin card that is a special illustration where she is holding a camera, and you can see in the reflection of the camera is her Hisuian Growlithe.
Oh, it's this set.
Yeah, and there's an illustration rare card that is the Hisuian Growlithe looking up at what you assume is Perrin looking down. So if you were to take the cards and maybe have them face each other, they would match up. So
that's adorable.
Those are the two that a lot of people are really after. Other than that, there's a Greninja that people are really after as well. And for playability, there's a gold Buddy Poffin, and I believe the Buddy Poffin cards are quite popular right now. Quite playable.
They replaced VIP Pass in the competitive format, so that would make sense.
Yeah, so there's a gold one. So if you want to be fancy with your deck, you go after that gold.
Oh, that was me when I played. You had to have all the gold cards, all the reverse hollows, all the hollow energies. I was obnoxious.
There you go. Gotta be fancy with it. So that is, there is that gold. And then there's Ogerpon. So as far as the special illustration rares go in this set, there are 4 Ogerpon cards that are special illustration rares because it's each of the masks. They're all different types. So I think there are like 12 or 16 Ogerpon cards in this set because she's
a queen. She needs all the attention.
There's the regular EX, and then there's a couple in the full art category, and then there's the special illustration rare across there. There's a promo in the ETB that's Ogerpon. So it's an Ogerpon set for sure.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yep.
What's the next set after this? Wasn't there weird timing with the recent English sets?
Yeah, so
Like this was a little quick, wasn't it?
it was only two. It was literally like 2 months, 2 months and 2 days between the last set and this one. And then there's a special set that's releasing at the beginning of August. That
The
is also
dragon
pretty
one.
quick. Yeah. So there's that, and then I think it's going to be into the fall into autumn time frame for the set following that. But that's what's coming up. I think there's a new set that just came out in Japan, or that just got announced in Japan.
Night
think it-
Wanderer.
Yeah,
No.
and I think
Yes.
Terapagos is in that, and yeah,
I have Night Wanderer TCG. This is off Bulbapedia. The name of the 5th Japanese subset for the Scarlet and Violet era. This will focus on the mythical Pokemon Pecharunt and the Loyal 3. Release date June 7th. Oh man, I leave Japan on June 2nd. That's a bummer. It will feature Okidogi, Monkey Dory, Pheasantipity, Pecharunt, Kiram, Binding Mochi, Chorus Tenacity. Tenacity, that's a word. And then Neutral Center, which is an ace-spec card.
yeah. So I think that's the last set that's going to be Teal Mask related.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Since it has Pecharunt.
Yeah. But it's also at the level 3. So I think it's got the last, and then it's going to jump into, so maybe the next set after that's Terapagos. I don't know. But we got sets coming out.
Yeah. The TCG machine does not stop.
Not
for
slowing
anyone.
down. No, not slowing down anytime soon.
This is good. To continue our TCG news. This is off The Verge. GameStop will buy and sell rare Pokemon cards, but okay, well, you don't need to read the whole headline here. Who's the author? Sean, senior editor at The Verge. This is a collaboration with PSA. One staffer states, isn't necessarily limited to Pokemon. The article says GameStop, the used video game retailer, has become increasingly associated with multiple investments. They wants to cash in on the resurgence of the card collecting craze. Well, I'm going to tell you right now,
They're a couple of years
They're
late.
a little late.
they're a little late here. Staffers have told PokeBeach, Polygon, and The Verge that stores will begin buying and selling rare Pokemon cards and possibly other cards as soon as next week. This was published on May 10th, so literally yesterday. GameStop apparently doesn't want any cards, though. Employees across multiple states say they will only be buying cards that have already been graded by Professional Sports Authenticator, PSA. If you didn't know what PSA stands for, now you do. They will only buy cards at an 8, 9, or 10, meaning that they need to be near mint condition or better with only slight imperfections. And yet GameStop won't accept the rarest cards valued at over $500 either. PokeBeach and Polygon have been reporting. You'll have to find somewhere else to sell your PSA 10 Shadowless First Edition Charizard. Interesting. I wonder if this is for safety and security issues.
Maybe, but that's probably a good thing, because with GameStop, if you go in there with something that's actually worth like $1,000, they're gonna give you like 500 or less for, like if you really did. Like we've all tried to sell games to GameStop. This is going to be no different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked at a GameStop. I've maybe newer people don't know this. It was the worst job maybe not the worst. It was one of the worst jobs I've ever worked. I worked there when the Wii came out. So every time we answered the phone, I specifically said, "Hi, thank you for calling GameStop." Something that you could, I would say, "Hi, thank you for calling GameStop. Just to let you know, we don't have any Wiis in stock. How may I help you?" And that was like 90% of the calls where they would go, "Oh, never mind. Thank you. Bye." And perfect. Great. We've already answered your question before we got anywhere. We don't have the Wii in stock. I know that's what you're calling to ask. The easiest phone call of my life every single time, multiple times a day. But that was also when the PS3 was out, because it was like PS3, Xbox 360. Xbox 360 was a year before them, and then the Wii.
Mhm.
And a lot of the times, GameStop would only employ one person. GameStop stores are pretty tiny, but you would never see, like, maybe around Christmas you would see like 3 GameStop employees, but like one during the day, 2 maybe in the evening. And at the GameStop I worked at, we, for whatever reason, had gotten a shipment of PS3s. So I wasn't working at the time. I found out later in my shift when I came in that the one employee working, a guy came in, he wanted a PS3, put it up on the counter. He said, "Do you have any more?" He said, "Yeah, we have one more in back." He's like, "Okay, I'll take both PS3s." So the guy went in back to get it, and the guy just grabbed the PS3 and ran.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
that was it.
Sounds about
And
right. That's
what do you can't chase? Well, I don't know why you would want to chase after, but even if you wanted to chase after,
no, you can't.
No one is watching the store at that point. It's only you.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other. It's not like, hey, Steve, I'm gonna chase after. I want to protect corporate GameStop and get this PS. Like, there's just no one able to watch the store. So in my head, when they say they don't want any cards over $500, it does seem to me like a safety security thing, because you have one employee working the majority of the time.
Yeah, it's still that way, because I've gone to GameStop multiple times over the last couple of years, and they've not been open during the middle of the day because the one employee working was like, "I'm getting lunch." So there's like a "We'll be back" sign with like "We'll be back in 20 minutes" or whatever, and it's like, it's 1:30 in the afternoon, but there's a "We'll be back" sign because the one employee needs to be able to take a break. So they've not changed that.
Back in my day, you didn't get a lunch. You just work right through.
Yep, that's how that goes.
One employee tells The Verge that this is explicitly a collaboration between GameStop and PSA. So not like a collaboration between the Pokemon Company. The Pokemon Company not in the PSA business.
They don't care. This is nothing to do with. Yeah, they're like, we put the cards in the packs. Like, this is whatever you do with them afterwards. We don't want a part of.
But that GameStop won't offer grading services in store or help you mail in your card for grading. GameStop will take other kinds of PSA graded cards beyond Pokemon 2, says an employee. And while PokeBeach reports that you'll be able to buy cards, they won't necessarily be the same rare PSA graded ones, but rather $1 singles to start. GameStop did not immediately respond for comment. We've reached out to PSA. It is not clear when this program will roll out, but PokeBeach states that it will start next week, and local stores in the PokeBeach area, which I think is California, said that they will start in July.
Well, I'm gonna try this when it actually does come out. I want to see what.
I know that GameStop sells used iPhones and stuff. That was not a thing when I worked at GameStop.
That was after
my I worked at GameStop so long ago. We were not selling Funko Pops at the time. I do know now that GameStop is like 90% Funko Pops, but that was not a thing when I worked there.
Yeah. Most of GameStop is not games at this point in time.
That's so sad.
I mean, it's a card game.
I mean, but at the point it's PSA graded, it's not really a card game anymore.
That's true.
That's true. It's a business game.
Well, I just think that the fact that The Verge referred to them as the used game seller, like, they sell new games as well, but like the fact that they're known for selling the used games is something for GameStop.
I mean, that's where they make all their money, is the used game. That's why they're offering 20 cents for FIFA 14. 20 cents might be generous for FIFA 14.
Yeah, the amount of times I've walked in there. I remember I walked into GameStop one time and I had an Apple TV, and I was like, "Will you guys take this?" And they're like, $4. And the person standing behind me was like, "I'll give you $5." I was like, "Done. You can have it for $5." It's great. I wouldn't recommend doing that in a local shop, but GameStop Corporation,
We had to
Go ahead.
tell people this happened to me, Bobby, where I'd be like, Resident Evil 5, we'll give you $4 for it. And the guy behind them would be like, I'll give you 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd be like, I would have to say, like, take it outside. You can't, this transaction cannot happen in front of me. Please, I don't care. Please just do that in the parking lot.
Yep. When that happened to me, I like looked at the employee, I was like, can I do this? And they were just like, yeah.
No, Bobby, they're calling the cops right now.
Well,
You're getting arrested.
Like, can I do this here in front of you, or do you want us to, walk away? But he was just like, whatever. Okay. He handed me a $5 bill. I handed him an Apple TV and I left.
Bobby, I would have offered you $6. You should have called me.
It was an old Apple TV. You don't
That
want
was a
this
bad
Apple
one.
TV. Old one.
I do think GameStop's a little bit late here. I think they're like 3 years late on this.
Yeah. I mean, prices. Well, that's the thing that's weird is prices on some of the rarer cards that would be, I guess maybe not over 500, but there are some cards from the last generation of Pokemon right now that are skyrocketing in value. And so, I mean, I guess they could pick up on that. But there are some, the alternate arts of the Sword and Shield era are all jumping way up in value right now. Not all of them, but some of the rarer ones are.
But do you think this is market manipulation?
I mean, what, the fact that they're all going up so much right now?
Yeah.
I think it's just that they're, I guess you could call it that. They're less and less, they're just less and less available now, So I think that's just, it's supply and demand in a way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at PokemonCenter.com right now, which is never discounted, right? It's just this is MSRP. It's like trying to buy Mario Odyssey on the Nintendo eShop. $60.
Yep.
Maybe if you're lucky it'll go on sale, but otherwise back to $60. They do have battle styles in stock, 36 packs, $143. That's the normal price. That's what it was when it debuted. Vivid Voltage, which was one of the highest in demand sets during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It had the rainbow
Pikachu.
Gigantamax gay Pikachu that everyone wanted. It was like a $400 card. I think it's only like $100 now. It is in stock, $143 as well, 36 packs. Those are the only
stock, Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies.
No Chilling Reigns.
Evolving Skies is selling for like $1,000 a box right now because of that Umbreon. The Umbreon that's in there. The Umbreon itself is selling for $900. Not
Silver
graded.
Tempest is in stock.
Yeah, Silver Tempest is Lost Origin in stock? Because Lost Origin is going to be the next one. Because there's a Giratina in there that's selling for like $400 right now on its own.
Wait, when you say selling for $400, is that like that's PSA graded?
Market price, not ungraded. Ungraded.
Ungraded.
Price,
well, I guess I'm going to be selling a Giratina soon because I would like to.
Do you have the alternate art Giratina from Lost Origin?
I do. I think I have 2 of them.
It's worth about $400 right now, maybe higher. Ungraded. I am not one of those people who's like taking the PSA 10 value of something and being like, this is the price everybody pays for. No, it's ungraded. I'm telling you, the alternate arts are going up in price, and it is unfortunate because I don't have any of them and I'd like them.
But I got a Giratina for you, Bobby.
I'm not paying $400 for that Giratina.
I hear.
If you have that Umbreon, we could talk a deal.
I don't have the Umbreon. I think I have the Leafeon, but the Leafeon is not.
That's worth like 200 some odd, like 250 or something right now. They all have jumped up in price a ton. Those rarer ones have all jumped up in price. And it is, you can call it what you want. I mean, it is, market manipulation, whatever it may be. But I think it's just the fact that the sets are getting a little bit older and people want to jump on those cards. I mean, to me, I'm thinking like, who's paying, $900 for an Umbreon? But then you go look at the sales and they're happening. So people are paying $900.
Umbreon never surprises me because Umbreon, for whatever reason, in the TCG is on this, like the tier below Charizard.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised Greninja isn't that tier. Like, I'm sure Greninja will get there
There hasn't
eventually.
been a Greninja card until this set coming up. Twilight Masquerade is the first one where there's like a rare special illustration type. Like there was no alt art Greninja in the Sword and Shield era, or even in this.
There was Radiant Greninja.
And that, well, I think that was pretty playable. So that one actually
It was
sold
super
quite
playable.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see now because there's a special illustration Greninja in the next set, and it'd be interesting to see. But that Umbreon is like the outlier of these cards. I have seen it for as low as $250, and I will never forget this ever because my friend took a picture of it, said it's only $250, and this was like 2 years ago. Do you want to Venmo me? Jokingly said, "You want to Venmo me? I'll send it to you." And I said, "I kind of do, but you know what? I'm gonna wait for it to come down because of course it'll come down." And it is now sitting at $1,000, and I'm just kicking myself.
Okay, but that's like that card is like the one exception.
It's the outlier, right? It's the one, of course, that like just never came down.
Because even going back to the Vivid Voltage Pikachu, everyone was like, this card is going to go up, 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 up. And it did for a while, but now it's like 125.
Yep.
Ungraded. I speak also in ungraded terms here.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I still think that Pokemon does go in waves. And so eventually I think that some prices on these will come back down a little bit, maybe go back up a little bit. But right now the Sword and Shield alternate arts are having a moment. So
there is part of me. So when there was a certain point where I was completely broke, poor, living paycheck to paycheck. This is probably relatable to a lot of people in the United States currently. And I had way too many hobbies. I was in Skylanders at the time. I was still into like buying. Hannah, for the audio people, Hannah is shaking her head and laughing at me. I was the Toys to Life. I was hardcore into. I needed every Skylander possible. I was in the Pokemon trading card game stuff, and I was playing competitively at the time. I was still buying physical versions of video games, and I was like one of those people that were like, I want a wall of physical video games forever. I was still into collecting Blu-rays at the time. You could tell this was a long time ago. I was still into collecting Blu-rays and like all the movies I liked. Guys, I literally mentioned Skylanders, so yes, you could tell this was a long time ago. And I was just broke. And that was the point where I was like, I wasn't happy with the TCG. I wasn't happy. It was around the time like Plasma Storm or Plasma Blast or whatever set introduced Hypnotoxic Laser. And I ended up selling all my Skylanders. I think I made like $800 off Skylanders. I sold before the burst. I sold before the bubble popped. And then I sold a lot of my TCG cards, and I had like 2 tropical beaches, and I sold each of those for $200. And then I sold a bunch of cards. Oh, I was also into board games at the time, so I was buying board games nonstop.
Jeez, so many hobbies.
So many hobbies.
Money like giving hobbies.
Yeah. I don't understand how people can be like, my hobby is skiing, but also 800 other things. Like skiing alone is a very expensive hobby.
Yes, it is.
I brought that up because I have a friend who skis, and I'm like, I have no clue how you afford this hobby.
It's a rich person hobby.
It is definitely a rich person hobby. And then I sold all my cards, almost all my cards, and I ended up walking away with like over $1,000, not including the 2 tropical beaches I sold. And I actually used all that money, and I paid off a credit card, and that was me starting to like get out of debt because I was living paycheck to paycheck. And there was part of me after I sold all those cards. I also sold my like 3DS Pikachu thing. I don't know which. There's multiple 3DS Pikachus, but I sold one of those. And there's like part of me that like kind of regrets, like, I wish I had all those cards, or I still wish I had that 3DS. I don't wish I had the Skylanders. Very glad I sold those. But now, like I booked this. I booked my trip to Japan, and I booked my trip to Spain, and I'm like, booking 2 international trips on the same week is a nightmare financially. Like, but I do have stuff because my basement flooded, and luckily nothing was damaged except one bookshelf. But the contractor who came down right away, he was like, man, you have a lot of Pokemon stuff. And I was like, I sure do.
Haven't seen anything.
He flagged that instantly when he walked into that basement. And I was like, yeah, all of these totes, which all my Pokemon stuff are in totes, we're safe from water damage because they're really big plastic industrial totes. And I'm thinking to myself, I kind of want to sell again. I just have so many cards, and they've literally been in totes for 2 years since I moved here. And there was a point in between of me selling the first time and then me being like, I kind of wish I didn't sell. And now there's like a point where like, what am I holding on to? I will never finish these sets. I will never get that Umbreon. I will never get the Espeon. I will like all of these EVs are too expensive. I'm missing Charizards or other cards that are super expensive. What if I just sold?
Yeah. It depends on the kind of collector you are, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's a lot of
like,
people.
I think I'm a collector where it's like, I just want to collect Cramorants. I just want to collect cards that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's really possible to collect these master sets of just every card, every secret rare, every rainbow rare, every super secret rare, or whatever they're called now.
Well, you're friends with Danny Phantom, right?
Yeah, Danny's great.
That he master sets everything, but he also tells people how much it costs to do so, and everything that it costs. And I mean, we're talking 5,000 a set. 3 to 5,000 a set. Like,
from my perspective, it's not like I want to collect all of these cards because one day they will be worth money. Like that was the dream I was sold as a 10-year-old, right? Like you gotta get the complete set of Fossil, you gotta get the complete set of Jungle, and this will pay for your college. And maybe if you sold at the exact right time and you had all of this stuff and you found the right buyer, it did maybe pay for some people's colleges. But we always make the joke about Ancient Mew of like, I had 20 Ancient Mews still in its wrapper. Oh. And my parents were like, this is going to pay for your college. Ancient Mew is like a $22 card. Maybe if it's like PSA 10, it's more. But like,
Steve, I currently have all of base set. I think you probably do too. It's not paying for anybody's college right now. If I want to sell that set, it's not paying for anyone's college. Maybe part way, but
I don't even know where I have all of base set. I have all of Fossil. I have all of Jungle. I have almost all of, I think Team Rocket was the 4th set.
Mm-hmm.
No clue where they are. In one of those totes in the basement, I'm sure.
Right.
And for regional dialect, totes are plastic bins. They're not tote bags. Just
not tote bags. Yes.
Yeah.
No clue where they are.
I think everybody has their own way of collecting, their own reasons to collect, but it is expensive. Pokemon cards are expensive. All cards are expensive. Sports cards are expensive. Before Pokemon cards, when I was a kid, I collected basketball cards. Just as expensive, and nowadays like more expensive because there's so many more. There's such a variety of sports cards to collect. But it's if you're collecting to try to make money, it's very different than if you're collecting just to collect. I mean, the whole thought process of how you're doing it has to be different. Like, for one, collecting by just opening a bunch of packs, you're never going to win. That's not a money-making way to do it. People think that they can go in and buy cases of booster boxes, and then that's just not how it works unless you are an actual card shop or like a reseller. Otherwise, that's just not the way to do it. But if you're collecting to collect, I mean, I don't know about you, Steve. You have a bunch of sealed up stuff, so
I have a lot of sealed stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
I was reached out to by Whatnot. And they were like, you want to do a stream for us? And I was like, maybe. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of like Whatnot, but the rep I was talking to was like really nice. And I was like, if I'm going to do a stream for you, like, can we do it for charity? That would be cool. Like, people buy a booster pack from me.
Mm-hmm.
The money goes to charity. I don't know, take your like $2 processing fee or whatever. But
you've done that before.
I've done that before. Yeah. We never ended up working out a deal, which is totally fine. But like, they were like, do you have old stuff? And I was like, boy, do I. You better believe I do. In fact, it's all in my kitchen right now because my basement flooded. Yeah, I have a lot of old stuff. And part of me is like, what if I just sold that too? Like I don't I don't want to be the person that's like, I'm holding on to this forever because one day it might be worth double or triple. Like, sure, one day maybe it will be, but like, I want to
Yeah.
live my life now.
Hold on to things because you want to have them. That's I always feel like that's
Yeah.
the key.
Mm-hmm. That is the best way to go about it, I think. For me as well, that as someone who collects a bunch of Pokemon cards. But I have that same thought process as Steve too. I think like what part of this is the feeling you get of like ripping open a pack of cards and maybe getting that like rare one, and what part of it is actually like, oh, I really want to keep and want these cards, right? Like there are certain cards I want, there are certain cards I don't care about, and yet like I could just go buy those cards, right? Or but you spend all this time opening packs, and it comes down to like, well, what part of that is what I like the most? Is it just that I like to open packs? Is it like that I like the actual cards, and you kind of, if you actually sit back and think about that, that really changes what you're doing when you comes to like these cards. Like I don't open as many packs as I used to
Yeah,
because
I don't
I
either.
sort of came to the realization of, well, if I like these cards and I just like these specific cards, could probably spend as much money to just buy the specific cards as I do to open all these packs and not pull the specific cards. And I mean that's the age old like thing with trading cards, right? People who play the game like play the game competitively a lot, right? They don't buy a bunch of packs. They'll go buy the singles of the cards that they need
Mm-hmm.
because at the end of the day, it's much
That's the
cheaper
easiest way to do it.
and it's the easiest way to just get what you need
Yeah.
Yeah.
to play the game,
And
And
good
So,
cards like
it is much cheaper, but it's also still expensive. I don't
mhm,
know.
mhm.
I've mentioned here before that I've never really played TCG because it's just always been too expensive. I get Pokemon cards for Christmas, and that's the extent of it for the
Yeah.
most part. But
I had a friend visit in January. He stayed a couple days, and he was like, "Oh, my nephews are really into Pokemon. They have decks and stuff." And he's like, "I want to build like a real deck, and I want to beat them." And I was like, "Yeah, cool. We can beat your nephews. Like that's pretty easy." Um, and he probably ended up. He was like, "Well, I want to buy some cards just to open packs, but I also want to like build a deck." And he must have spent probably $100 that weekend on just cards. And he opened them all up and he was like, "Is this good?" And I was like, "No, none of these are good." And I was like, "Well, what kind of deck you want to build?" And we found a deck, and he maybe had like out of like the 60 cards in the deck, he probably pulled like 5 of the 60 cards needed.
Mhm.
And I was like, let me go into this room. Okay, here's a bunch of cards. Okay, we're gonna go through each card. Okay, here's the B barrel you need. Here's the Charmander you need. Here's the item card you need. And still, after all of that, after all of these cards that I own, he was still missing like 20 cards. And I was like, okay, here's the card list of what you're missing. You'll have to probably go to TCG Player or eBay. He spent like another 40 or 50 on the last 20 cards he needed. Now, that's not to say like every deck is like 150 plus. Like you can go to TCG Player right now and probably get a deck for like $25. Is it
Mhm.
like an S tier deck? No, it's probably like a B tier deck, but like you can get a deck for really cheap. It's not going to be, but also like getting an S tier deck doesn't mean you're automatically going to win. You have to like
Yeah.
still be
There's
good at the
multiple
game.
factors. Yeah.
Right. It's not like going to like Dick's Sporting Goods and getting like a $300 tennis racket and you're like, oh, I'm good at tennis. That's all I needed. Just needed the good racket. All right, let's take one more break. We'll wrap up with some Scarlet and Violet news and whatever else was on our to-do list. So we will be right back. And we are back from our break. I don't know why I wasn't confident in that. We we have a little bit of Pokemon Go news, and then the Primarina Raids are here. This is off PokemonGoLive.com. Celebrate Latin America's Spanish language support coming to Pokemon Go with a special event. Is Latin America Spanish different than
yes.
other Spanish? Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
It is different.
Yep.
Got it. I'm glad that was that was probably a dumb question, but
No, it's not. Lots of people don't know it. But yeah, they are different enough that they are taught separately usually. If you're taking a Spanish class, you usually know which one you're learning.
Is it just called Latin America Spanish? Latin American Spanish?
I think so. I'm not 100% certain.
Yeah, I don't know the
It-
answer to that. I'm not gonna
It's
say anything because I'm
it
not
does
100%
it.
sure.
I would assume that's correct because it says starting today you'll be able to set your in-game language to Latin American Spanish. Um, maybe there's another word for it, but that's cool. That's very cool. During a keynote speech at CCXP in Mexico City on May 5th, keynote personnel from Niantic and the Pokemon Company International announced that the launch of support for Latin American Spanish, as well as other updates relevant to the region, including a month-long in-game celebration across Latin America to commemorate the occasion. Read on for more details. They made like a little trailer for it. You know how we said you could rediscover Kanto? Well, Latin America, you can now rediscover Kanto again and again. To celebrate this event from Sunday, May 5th through Saturday, June 15th, you'll be able to complete field research that will give you encounters with Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. Field research will also give you Mega Energy for Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise. There will be timed research that will award star pieces, incubators, and rare candy, as well as encounters with Lapras and Snorlax. You will earn double the hearts with your buddy, twice incense duration, and a chance of daily surprises when you encounter Pokemon with the Go Snapshot.
It looks like this event is nearly identical to the one when they added Hindi language support in India last year.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Speaking of the Go Snapshot, they did. Ooh, good transition. They did update the camera. Finally, it's out for everyone. Bobby, you've taken pictures with said camera.
I have. It's a very good update. I will say it's been. I haven't seen any issues with it personally. There hasn't been any. So before they came out with this last year, they removed a feature that was called like group AR mode, where you could get together with 2 or 3 people. You could all have your buddy Pokemon and then send them out, and then you could take a picture of 2 or 3 Pokemon together. And that crashed like every other time you tried to use it. And this isn't along the same lines because, for one, you're just using one device, which is great. 2, you're not using your buddy Pokemon this time around. You're actually using the Go Snapshot, where you actually pick a Pokemon from your storage and can do that. But it has been totally smooth on the rollout. So another win for Niantic's update that seemingly is positive and people aren't really mad about it. That obviously it's hitting a much smaller group that is using it.
Yeah,
but
people aren't really mad about it. I think lots of people don't use it
or know, really
yeah
know what to do with it. But it is fun to be able to take pictures of multiple Pokemon at once. Kind of surprised they didn't do anything around like an event or like something to. I think they did. If you use Go Snapshot, and I don't know if it's still available, you could go and get some flair from the shop for free, because with this new update you can actually add stickers to your pictures, and they're the stickers that you get from gifts, the stickers that you can send to people, those same stickers. However, it does consume the sticker. So if you have 25 of those Bulbasaur stickers that you would send on a gift to somebody, you can now put them on your picture when you've taken a picture, but it takes it out of your storage.
They're trying to sell more stickers.
Yeah.
So just know that if you're
Dark
I did this for a
patterns.
little while where I tried to keep one of every single sticker, so I would have a collection of all the old ones. I gave up on that after some time. But if you've been doing that and you have stickers you don't want to lose, don't put them on a photo.
Yeah, don't put them on a photo because they do consume the sticker. But I have seen people saying it's kind of cool where if you do have stickers you want to use, let's say you're at a specific Pokemon event like Go Fest and you get a special Go Fest sticker, you could put that on a picture, right? And it kind of is a little bit more like, oh, you could remember this is like this picture is from Go Fest, or you could do it in that way as well, if you don't mind losing it, but you will, you won't be able to have that sticker after that. So it does consume them.
There was a point where this is like maybe 7 years ago, where when you took a picture, it took like a really good picture, and then Niantic changed it where the picture wasn't as high quality.
I've been wanting to ask about that too because they haven't changed that, right?
Is that the same here?
It's the same. It takes the quality of picture is, I believe the way that it works is it's almost like it's a screenshot.
Yeah.
It's kind
Snapchat
of the
does
equivalent.
this too.
Yeah, Snapchat and Instagram, they take screenshots. They don't actually use well, I mean, they're using the camera, but they're like
the picture isn't processed the same way like the camera processes a picture when you're in like the camera app or a different app. Yeah, so the pictures are not. It's the same quality as before. So
that's a bummer.
It is a bummer because that would be the biggest improvement, is just to make the quality of the actual pictures better, but that has not changed. And
there were other Niantic games that I think used the camera better. I'm pretty sure I heard newer games had used the camera in a more native way.
I believe the Pikmin game does. Pikmin Bloom. I believe when you take pictures of that, it's a better quality picture than what Pokemon Go puts out.
Pikmin Bloom also accesses your entire camera roll and picks photos from it.
It does, but that's different.
Oh, that's
I know that is different, but
that is weird.
I do like Pikmin Bloom. I stopped playing it, but I did enjoy that game.
Yeah. So, yeah, that they hopefully one day that will change. I don't know that they're.
If it wasn't in this update, I have no hope.
I don't know. I mean, but so anyway, the update does have some other good things though. Like if you did take pictures before, with flying Pokemon, you can now actually change which height they're at, so you can make them higher or lower in the picture.
Yeah.
You can turn the Pokemon around much easier to rotate them. You don't have to walk around the Pokemon to get it to look a different direction. You can now just rotate the Pokemon to look a different direction. You can get them to all smile at the same time to do their celebration animation at the same time. And there's also a timer. You can set a 5-second or a 10-second timer now for your pictures. And so
so you can set the timer, go run out in front of your camera and take a photo of yourself with your Pokemon.
Yep, exactly. So you got 5 seconds or 10 seconds. And then they're trying to improve on the reality blending, which was the feature that they came out with a couple of years ago. Well, maybe more than a couple of years ago, where like if there was like a tree and you wanted the Pokemon to be like popping out from beside the tree, it would try to blend that so that the Pokemon would actually disappear behind the tree. That was only ever available in portrait mode before, and now it is available in portrait or landscape mode. I have not tried it to see if it has improved much. I do know there's a fair amount of Japanese players who do the Go Snapshot stuff and post a lot of it on X and Instagram and Threads.
We call it Twitter here,
they
Bobby.
seem to use that a lot more. What?
We call it Twitter here.
Okay. I mean, sure. I don't even use it anymore, so I have no idea. But so Twitter and Instagram and Threads, then they use that reality blending a lot more. There are a lot of very creative Go Snapshot posts, tweets, things like that. So if you want to look up and see some pretty cool pictures, just like look up hashtag Go Snapshot or Go Snapshot like in Threads or Instagram. And there are a lot of very creative people, and there's a lot of people specifically in Japan, because they have they do the lids or the
Pokelids.
The Pokelids, and they'll take a lot of pictures with themed around those lids, which is pretty cool. So but yeah, the new Go Snapshot updates I think are an overall win They just that camera quality. Like
Yeah,
if they could ever do it. I mean, that's why like my pictures, it's like I like looking about them on my phone, but the moment I have to look at them on my computer or something, it's like, oh yeah, this isn't good. Like these aren't great.
It really shows in places with a lot of foliage or a lot of busyness in the photo.
Yes.
It just means that if you live in a place with a lot of forests, it's really hard to take good Go snapshots.
Yeah, not helpful for you. Me over here with the desert and the water is more okay.
Speaking of water, actually, before we talk about Primarina, that was also a good transition. Niantic did this weird thing. It's not weird. It definitely intentional. They put the Pokecoin boxes at the top of the store, and it was up there for like 2 weeks. And I did personally message them, and I was like, "This sucks." It did. Like I do go into the store. I like to see personally. I like to see what are the current events, because it's like those are the spend the dollar or whatever. But like it does remind you of like what events are coming up. And then below that was the free box, and then at the very bottom was the very, very bottom was the store. They flipped it. It was around for like 2 weeks. I don't think my message to them saying it sucked was the convincing thing. But they switched it back. As far as I know, it's not at the top of my store anymore. It's back to normal, whatever normal is.
Yeah, I didn't actually notice it till you just like said it, that it did flip back for me as well. So that was an awful idea, honestly. Like that, nobody wanted that. Like, please let me know if you wanted that. I want to know why. Like, it literally, like,
I need to spend money as fast as possible.
Yeah, I would love to actually know if there's anyone who saw that and enjoyed that update, and then I would want to know why. Like, and if it is just, oh, I buy a lot of coins and now I don't have to scroll to the bottom, it's right there. Like, I get that, but
no, you shouldn't. No, I don't get that. You shouldn't be buying coins in the iOS app or the Android app anymore. As much as I dislike giving Niantic money, and I'm very vocal about this, if you are to buy coins, you should go to their web store. Because you will get more for your money. I mean, technically, Niantic also gets more money from you because Google and Apple take less of they don't take a cut on the web store. But you, as the user, do get more coins on their web store.
That's true.
And they don't seem to care about that because they just want you to buy coins. They just want you to buy coins.
Any
way possible.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to tell people how to spend their money, but Steve's right that you're going to get more for your money there. Also, if you've never been to the web store before, you do get a discount on your first purchase over $10. So if you're actually thinking about making like a bigger coin purchase or something, and you've never used the Niantic web store, at least I know in the US, I don't know how it is across the world, but in the US, I believe it's 15% off your very first purchase in this web store. So if you're looking at maybe buying like the $100 coins or spend, one of the bigger purchases, and you haven't used the web store, definitely go, because you'll get a discount there. But all that to say, the coins thing at the top, terrible idea. I'm glad it's gone.
But now we just have the tickets at the top again, and those still annoy me.
Really?
Well, let me tell you about an even more annoying ticket, Hannah. The daily Pokecoin field research ticket for $1.99.
Yep.
I bought that.
Of course you did.
Bought that?
I gotta test it out. We gotta see.
Okay, that's a fair reason. Thank you for doing the research for us, Bobby. This why would I pay you money for coins, but then you also want me to do work to get those coins? The reason I don't like sit there for 5 minutes and take out a gym is because in my head, 5 minutes is not worth 50 cents. If I'm lucky, I'll get the 50 cents. I would rather just give you $5 and get however many coins is $5 than to like waste several, like, of course, if I'm at a restaurant or if I'm sitting there, I'll take out a gym, but I'm
You
not
just
like
talked about people making the most of their money, and now you're like,
time
5
is money,
minutes for-
Bobby. Time is money. It takes, if there's a Blissey and a Melmetal and a Slacking there, that is not worth 50 cents. No, it is not. That's just too much work for 50 cents. But you want me to spend $2 to get an extra dollar back? That's
80
too much work.
80 cents. Yeah.
80 cents. It's not even a full dollar. Somebody commented on my post and they said Niantic will try everything except a subscription model. True. Why don't they just roll out a subscription? Just do it.
Yeah. No, I did buy it to test this out. I know it starts, I believe it's May 16th, and check the dates on that, but I believe it's May 16th that it starts. It does sound, I really did buy it because I'm actually interested in what this is going to really look like. You can also, you have to do tasks, and then if you don't, so one of the things is if you have a full task list, so if you have 4 tasks already from, built up, you don't get the daily thing. So if you look at the way that this works is you have to do a daily task to get the coins each day. And if you do it each day for that period of time, which is I think 2 weeks, you get 280 coins in total. So technically, if you do the work every single day, you paid $2, you get 80 more cents. You get 80. You
That's
usually
crazy to
you
me.
usually get 200 coins for $2. You get 280 coins for this $2. But if if one day you already have 4 tasks in your research tasks and the night goes to the next day, you don't get the task for the coins for that day. So it's possible that you could actually go through this and not get the 280 coins if you forget that you have your task list full at the end of the night.
Or
This
if you're
is
not doing
insane.
it every single day.
Or if you don't open the app for the day, or you don't open the app, or just don't do a task that day, or the task that it is. And I don't know, I don't think it said what the tasks are yet, so I would hope it's not like
Do a
do a
raid.
raid or something.
If Niantic wanted to get people out to do more things, to like play their game every day, I feel like the task you get for free, the COVID task that they actually didn't remove, which is really great,
task.
where you get like, well, they introduced it during COVID.
I
because
know,
people
it's just
couldn't,
that's yeah, sure.
the one thing from COVID they didn't like backtrack on. But I don't think 5 coins is generous by any means. But if that task that popped up daily was like spin a stop and get 5 coins, and you were getting 55 coins a week, which is still not enough to get a raid pass, but that would still be better than this. It would be better than anything they've ever tried. People want a way to get coins that isn't gyms because 1, people don't have gyms. 2, you're going to approach a gym, you're going to see a Blissey, a Slacking, and a Melmetal, and you're going to be like, this is going to take 15 minutes of my time for 50 cents. I could make more working at McDonald's, and McDonald's employees should be getting paid way more than they already do. Like they could literally give you 5 cents a day, and that would be more incentive to go out versus give us $2 and we will give you 80 cents back. That is insane.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Maybe if this was give us $2 and we'd give you $3 back, so you'd get 500 coins total, I'd be like, just do a subscription at that point. But like 80 cents is actually crazy.
I think a bigger thing too is, and they've done this before with like the timed research, right? When you pay for a timed research, but you don't finish it, you don't get whatever the items are. Like if we're paying for something, give us the thing we're paying for. Like it doesn't like, it's ridiculous to think that they literally had to put a disclaimer in it that said like, if your items or task list is full, you may not get the coin task for the day. That should
That's
never
horrible.
be a thing. That should never ever be a thing.
That's
that doesn't
horrible.
make any sense.
That should
like,
not.
Wait, how much is the task giving you? 5, 20?
It must be because it's 280 over, I want to say like a 14-day period, which would make sense. It'd be 20 cents. It'd be 20 coins a day, right? If it was over 14 days.
Yeah.
So I think that's about right. I think it's May 16th through May 30th or something like that. So yeah, 20 coins a day. But it's ridiculous to me that there's even a disclaimer to say that you're going to pay us $2. We're going to give you 280 coins, except if you miss 4 of the days, you could have just bought $2 worth of coins. Like, again, I don't even know what these tasks are, but I can't imagine that that's the thing that's going to make people think, oh, this is fun. I'm going to do a task, you know? And I say this as someone who purchased it. So I understand my position here is weird, but it is completely ridiculous. And as we talk about this, I feel worse and worse about paying for it. But again, someone has to test this, and
That's
it's
true.
going to be me.
Thank you for. Do you even get like? I know that's a very small minority of people out there, but they care about their task list. Of like, if you scroll over, you can see like every task you've ever done.
Yeah, I
Does it
care
show
about
up?
that.
Does it show up there?
It probably will, because most things that you pay for show up there. Most, not all, definitely not all, but
So it's not going to be the daily research.
But it is a daily research.
Because if it's the daily research, it's not showing up there.
Right. Well, yeah, that's right. That's true, because it's a daily task.
Yeah.
Because it goes away.
Unless there's a timed research that goes with it, where it's like complete this task this many times.
Yeah.
But that would be even worse, because if you miss it one day, then you wouldn't complete. Yeah, this is bad. This is all bad. This is a terrible idea. I don't know why they did this, and I didn't help by buying it, because that's one more to the yes, we got someone list.
Yeah.
Also, like, I'm trying to think of ways to make this better. Why is it not 99 cents? Like, why is it $2? Why did they decide $2 will get you $2.80 back? Like, it's such a I don't want to say like no thought has went into it, but very weird selective thought went into this.
Too much thought went into it, I think, is the problem here. It also, because it's like 2 weeks beforehand, it feels like they're taking our $2 to put that into some fund to make interest on it over the next 2 weeks before they have to pay back the $2.80 that they're going to.
It's all virtual.
Any money? It's digital.
Yeah.
It's currency. It costs them nothing to give us coins.
I'm just saying, it feels like, with the way that it's all planned out, it feels very much like that.
I want to be very clear. I am not against giving games money. Especially if it makes you happy, if you're into it, if it's the game you like. I just when I think of like, when I made the suggestion of like there should be a task every day that maybe gives you 5 coins. It's not a lot by any means. You can't gamify it, right? Because you can't like go out and spin a stop and like try to get it. It's the one given to you, so there's no way to like, again, like gamify it. But like, I just think of Pokemon Sleep, where like sometimes when you hit the daily gift, it gives you 10 gems, which is not a lot of gems. Sometimes it gives you 50. Most of the time it gives you 10. Sometimes it gives you a Poke Biscuit. I'm actually really down with the Poke Biscuit. That's like one of the best things it can give you. But because it gives you like 10 gems a day, sometimes, mostly, I got enough free gems to buy the Cyndaquil bundle for free. No cost. That's 250 gems total. That's like $5 in Pokemon Sleep currency, because that game is priced very weirdly. But I don't even have to leave my house, Niantic. I just have to log into Pokemon Sleep and hit the gift button. And sometimes it's a Poke Biscuit. Sometimes it's 10 gems. Sometimes it's an energy pillow. Like, if you want people to leave your house and play your game outside, which I get, that's your goal. If you want people to spend money on your game, if you want people to like go into the store, look at what Pokemon Sleep is doing, because they're doing everything right. Like, it's like if I have a choice of like, I have $20 this month to give to a game I love, it's going to go to Pokemon Sleep. They're just doing everything right. They're balancing the game. They're apologizing for things that are broken. They're giving you incentive to log in. The events are really great. The only thing wrong with Pokemon Sleep is their store is expensive. Like, I will give it to Niantic that like a raid pass and like a lucky egg and a star piece isn't like that expensive compared to other mobile games. Like, I'll give it to them there. But this daily Pokecoin thing is outrageous.
I'm just looking for the daily Pokecoin. Like, was there ever an announcement made for this? Because I'm not seeing it anywhere. Like, it's not on the Pokemon Go Live website. It's nowhere at this point.
No, it's not on their website.
Yeah.
They
It might be
weren't
on
even
their
that sure of
Twitter.
it.
I mean, Pokemon Sleep, again, is still in the early days. They're still in the stage of a company where they have to be making their users as happy as possible. That could and probably will change with time. Pokemon Go is long past that point.
Long past that. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I have the ticket in my storage, and it says May 16th through May 30th. It'll give you automatically activate the daily Pokecoin field research ticket experience on May 16th, wherever you are.
If this had been a free thing, if it was just automatically integrated so everyone could go out and get 5 coins a day, like Steve said, just automatically, I think that would get people out there. But having to pay for a chance at that is absurd.
It really is.
And even if it's just paying for a chance to test something that could potentially be free in the future, that's weird. And it doesn't make people feel good about it.
So they did do that thing in Australia a couple of years ago where there was a different way.
4 years ago.
Was it?
It was like
maybe
4 years ago at this point.
4 years ago? Yeah, okay.
3 or 4. It was like right before the pandemic, I think.
Oh, was it?
I thought it was right after the start. I don't know.
Oh,
it was years ago.
It was a long time.
Yeah, all the years melted together. So they tried that, and it didn't work. And I know there are people who obviously will remember this or know exactly what it was, but something about it didn't work because I think it had to do with you were getting coins a different way, but then there was some weird thing happening with the gyms in that.
Yeah, it was the gyms became way more territorial, and people were arguing over gyms because the time in gyms changed. So you had to be in the gym longer for less coins. I think it was like you could earn 35 coins in a gym, but you could earn more coins outside of a gym. But all in all, you could only still earn 50 coins a day. So like they would have a research of like catch 10 Pokemon, get 5 coins. You'd have to find that, do it. But the people who were relying on gyms got more upset because they were getting less coins for the same amount of time. That was technically the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I remember right, it caused a weird amount of fighting and contention between the players.
I don't know. I
don't think they need to change the gym system.
There is like just so many other ways you can go about doing it. And it just, I don't know. There's just, and this isn't the way to do it either. Making people pay so that you can give them 80 extra coins, potentially 80 extra coins if they do 14 days of tasks is not the way to do it.
I think if they added a new system, then they don't necessarily need to change the gym system to even it out. I think that was the main problem.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they do need to change the gym system. But
what if there was like this thing called a subscription and that gave you coins, part of your subscription?
Yep. What if? That would be novel. That would be a whole new idea.
I mean, there should still be ways other than gyms to earn coins. I don't think a subscription solves that issue fully, but
it would feel better than whatever this is.
Yes, it just seems like, again, I've said this before, I don't think just because remote raid passes got decreased in usage or limited and the price went up, Niantic is scrambling for money. I think they would be doing all of this stuff anyways because we're just in that point of the game where they're looking for other ways to get money, because that remote raid pass audience is still a select audience. Not everyone did raids. Not everyone cared about raids. Not everyone did 20 or 30 raids a day. So like, I still think these ways to get money from you would have still popped up whether or not people cared or did not care about the remote raid pass issues. I just think the ways they're trying to get money out of you is just so weird.
Good way to put
like
it.
this, like pay $2 to get $3 back. It's not even a full $3, it's $2.80. Like, if you want to get money out of people, the subscription model is right there.
It's already
people
in the game
activate
too.
subscriptions and then forget about them. Do you know how many people probably have a World of Warcraft subscription and haven't logged in like 8 months? A lot.
They put code for subscriptions in the game years ago.
Yeah.
Never done anything with it.
Yep.
Okay, final bit of news is Primarina is in 7-star raids. Like I said, you just keep saying it over and over. It'll finally happen. It was a fairy type Primarina, which means its fairy type moves are stab boosted, same type attack bonus boosted, and Terra boosted, which means that Moonblast would hit very hard. It does have its signature move, Sparkling Aria. It has Sing and Encore, which like thematically makes sense. It's kind of like Greninja having Toxic Spikes. It's just like the Pokemon that is a singer has Encore and Sing. Makes sense. And then it also has Surf and Psychic. So it has the poison type coverage because Fairy is weak to poison. It has nothing to deal with steel types, which is what my video was based on. So if you need Pokemon suggestions, all the builds in my video work really well against Primarina. The cool thing that I discovered is that the ability of Toxtricity, which is Punk Rock, actually reduces the damage of sound-based moves. Not that Primarina would really use Sparkling Aria, but Sparkling Aria is a water-type move, and it's a sound-based move, and Toxtricity's Punk Rock reduces that damage. It's just really cool that it does that. Primarina is just going to default to use Psychic anyways. But then also a move like Sing, which is a normal-type move, gets turned into a water-type move. So that means Pokemon with Water Absorb, like Vaporeon or Clodsire or Gastrodon, they can't get put to sleep because it will suck it up as a water type move, which is really cool. Not that I've tested this, but you could bring a Pokemon like Bastiodon, which is a rock steel Pokemon. Rock is weak to water, but Sparkling Aria is a sound-based move, and Bastiodon has soundproof, so it can't actually get hit by it, which is kind of cool. If there was ever a new type added to a Pokemon game, you would think that it would be sound type, because there are like 20 plus sound type moves, but
yeah, and they've already separated them out in the way the moves interact with all of those abilities and everything.
Yes, like
sound
there's
type is already kind of a
there's
category of move.
Yeah, there's like soundproof, there's punk rock, there's like a bunch of abilities that interact with sound, and there's a bunch of moves that are sound. And there's moves like Throat Chop, which stops all sound-based moves. So Toxtricity, Berserker, a bunch of Pokemon in my video learn Throat Chop. So you can Throat Chop, you stop Sing for everyone, you stop Sparkling Aria for everyone. Those are the only two sound-based moves. But you stop those moves for everyone, so you can Throat Chop, attack, Throat Chop, attack, and then Primarina can never sing because you're chopping its throat. It's very brutal.
Yeah, I never realized that did that, but that is really a little violent there.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's not the only one.
No, definitely not.
Primarina is dropping Herba Mystica. And like I said, that YouTube video is up. Primarina will be gone by the time this podcast is up, but then returns the following Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you need to catch it. Or if you just want to grind out raids for Herba Mystica, it's a relatively straightforward raid once you understand how sound-based moves work. There's lots of ways to stop Sing. You can Misty Terrain, you can Electric Terrain, you can Safeguard, you can Throat Chop, you can have Water Absorb. Even if you're playing with randoms, there's lots of ways to stop Sing and Sparkling Aria. Just don't bring anything weak to Fairy. Don't bring Koraidon. It's 4 times weak. Don't bring anything weak to Fairy. We are going in Elite Four order. So we did Crispin with Blaziken, and then we did Amorous with Empoleon. And then there was a break for the Kanto starters, and then there was a break to celebrate Cherry Blossoms with Meganium, also April Fool's Meganium. And then there was Primarina with Fairy. So the next 7-star raid should be Sceptile. And because it's Drayton's Pokemon, and because Sceptile is a dragon when it megas, I am super confident that the Sceptile is going to be Dragon type.
Mm-hmm.
It also learns a million Dragon type moves if you look at its moveset.
Almost no doubt there.
Yep.
Sure. And then after that should be Incineroar, because that is Kieran's starter. Although I don't know what type that would be. I haven't really thought about that. We haven't gotten a dark type Terra yet, so I could just see it being dark type.
What do you mean?
But yeah,
you haven't gotten one yet?
7-star raid boss has not been dark yet.
Oh, right, because the Charizard was dragon, right?
Charizard was dragon.
Right.
I don't think we've gotten the first steel Pokemon we got was Blastoise. But I don't think we got, and the first ground we got was, I think the first ground was Venusaur. So the only 2 we're missing is dark and electric.
Did they give us a dark Terra Charizard?
They
then?
did. There was a GameStop dark Charizard.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
that
we
was
may
the
have had this
distribution.
conversation before. Yeah, because the Terra in the card game for Charizard is dark.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Obviously they still have Emboar, they still have Superior, they still have Feraligatr, they still have Swampert. There's a lot of starters. We got starters for the rest of the year.
I think there are only 8 that they haven't done.
Yeah. But if they're doing one every 3 weeks, that gets us to the end of the year.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
I think
it does.
With like a break in between there, here and there for different celebration stuff or whatever. Different.
Yeah. I would assume they're going to stop the starters for Worlds or what, and there should be something special.
Maybe.
We would think maybe a shiny Rayquaza. Maybe they bring Mewtwo back for another round. I could see them doing that. They like to repeat their special events. They did do that random Iron Bundle. That wasn't a starter at all. And that was fun for Christmas.
Yeah, that's true.
But we're in that part of the year where holidays that are typically celebrated in games are few and far between.
Yeah. And I would assume near the end of this life cycle, they will do gouging fire. I always say gorging. I always likes to gorge. Gouging fire, raging bolt. I would assume they wouldn't be 7-star. They would be 5-star, like Walking Wake and Iron Leaves were 5-star. So
I don't have as solid an I don't feel like those will necessarily show up in raids, but we'll see.
You don't think so? I feel like that would be like their last hurrah. Like we're done with this. We're moving to Gen 10. Not that we're moving to Gen 10 anytime soon, but
I feel like the only reason they keep doing Walking Wake and Iron Leaves is just because they're trapped in there.
Yeah, that's the only way to get them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think they necessarily need to do it with the rest of them.
But they do it with a bunch of the other Paradox Pokemon. So
but
I think the reason I think so is because at least in Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, they gave you 2 Blacephalon and 2 Stakataka to like trade one. And there's no way, like I don't have Raging Bolt or Gouging Fire because I haven't finished my copy of Scarlet. I finished Violet, so I caught Boulder and Crown, but I used to have every Pokemon in Pokemon Home, but I don't have those 2 just because I have to beat the Elite Four.
They could also do it as like they could get people to GameStop and maybe you'll trade them your PSA cards while you're there and pick up a Raging Bolt and a Gouging Fire for free.
They could.
I don't think they do that anymore.
Do they
They
not?
could.
Do they
What
not
was the
think-
last
I mean,
GameStop distribution?
There was one
the-
relatively recently.
It was the Halloween Mimikyu? Was that the last one?
I feel like there was maybe one more recent, but that definitely...
Yeah.
I know I missed that one. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyways,
yeah.
Primarina video is up. All of those builds are fun. They work well in groups or not groups. You'll figure it out. Watch the video.
Yeah, just watch the video.
Sceptile's next. Unless there's some weird event that they're gonna they pulled with Meganium. I'm so confident on Sceptile, I'm going to build counters this week.
Wow.
And then when they announce it, publish on that video. It's gonna be ready to go. I'm so confident on Dragon type Sceptile.
Just watch them take another break. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll have the video done at least, Hannah. I just have to wait for them to announce it, and then I'll hit the button. You know what they could also do in raids? They could do other legends like they did Dialga Palkia. Dialga Palkia were 5-star, and you could only catch one.
Mm-hmm.
But they could do something like that, like the Forces of Nature or Enamored.
Oh, gosh.
Where is she?
People would be so happy about that.
Calyrex is not in the game. Well, Calyrex is in the game, but you could catch the horses, but you couldn't catch Calyrex.
Mm-hmm.
I could do Calyrex.
Mm-hmm.
He could be riding a horse. There's a lot of stuff they could do for the rest of the year, is what I'm saying. Anyways, if you made it this far in the video and you're watching, tell me in the comments your best GameStop story. I would love to know. Please let me know your best games or your worst GameStop experience in the comments on YouTube. Otherwise, we will be back next week. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Bobby. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
super effective.
Super going to watch Pokemon Horizons Part 2 as soon as possible, at least over here. Don't know about you two.
Gotta watch part 1.
probably this weekend.